Coming up on the Inside Indiana Business Television podcast, we take a deep dive into this year's Mira Awards. We talk to winners in categories including Tech Product of the Year, the Community Impact Award, the Tech Education Award, and the Rising Entrepreneur of the Year. Also, the Air Force looks to Indiana for a new test plane. We catch up with a legend in the business of health. An INDYCAR team looks to make a global impact, and we check in with our partners at the IBJ. Welcome to the Inside Indiana Business Television podcast. I'm Andy Ober. Indianapolis-based TechPoint once again honored the best in tech in Indiana with the 2022 Mira Awards. Taking home 2 awards this year was New Albany-based RX Lightning, earning Tech Product of the Year and Startup of the Year honors. The company says its platform helps cut wait times for life-altering therapies. CEO Julia Regan joined Inside Indiana Business host Gary Dick with more.
We incorporated in January 2020, right before the pandemic hit the world, and we've grown really quickly. So today, when patients are prescribed specialty medications, these are high-cost meds that patients can't get at the local pharmacies down the street, and they treat diseases like oncology, rare diseases, dermatology issues. Today, when providers prescribe those medications, there's a lot of paperwork, phone calls, and faxes that occur. And as a result, it sometimes takes weeks or months for patients to get through the approval processes and get to start the meds. So we've automated all the paper processes, and now patients are getting the medications in days instead of weeks.
Talk about how difficult it can be and the time it takes for patients to get some of these specialty medications.
What we've done is we've looked at each discrete paper-based process, and we've automated it, and our technology is completely proprietary. A lot of people automate paper with writable PDFs. That's not our technology. We have some AI and machine learning within it, and we have a very intelligent platform for about 1,200 medications. And because of it, we create a unique experience for providers where they could complete all these different paper processes in a single experience that's the same regardless of drug, pharmacy, program, insurance, etc. And it becomes very user-friendly to the offices and very quick and easy.
How dramatically do you shrink the time it takes for patients to get these medications?
So what we're hearing on average, so URAC is the organization that accredits specialty pharmacies, and when you look at their data, the average day to dispense is usually about 6.5 days. In our system, we're seeing our average day to dispense between 1 and 2 days, and the fastest we've been able to see is about 3.5 hours, which is really just unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about opportunities for growth as you look going forward? What do you see out there? We
are a young organization. We started in 2020. We ended the year with a couple employees at the end of 2020, and now we're up to 23, I think, full-time, and we're looking to double by the end of the year. So we really need great people and talent that are associated with the mission about helping patients and that are ready to join a fast-growing organization.
For some perspective now on the best and brightest in Indiana tech, pleased to be joined by TechPoint Vice President for Stakeholder Engagement, Lauren James. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you for having me back,
Great
Gary.
event, yeah, last weekend. RX Lightning, double award winner, but she was nominated for 3 awards, so she's really got it. That company's really got it going on.
Julia and the RX Lightning team are a remarkable story. We're really excited for her and the entire team. And if you sit down with her and see her passion and energy, you really know why that she's a success story. And Julia said it, they're disrupting the medical market, particularly for those specialty medications. And not only that, they're saving lives while doing so. And she mentioned it's complicated, it's paper heavy, but they're turning that and streamlining a process that would take a couple of weeks to hours and perhaps even days. ways, and that's saving lives while doing so, which we're really proud of her.
Yeah, and I
for
think that's
sharing.
an important point to make, saving lives, impacting people.
Yeah.
I think another element of this is the fact this is a statewide company. It's a New Albany company, Southeast Indiana, reflective of the fact that innovation is taking place not just here in Central Indiana.
Yes, and for our 23rd annual Mira Awards, when you think about diversity across the state, New Albany was just one of the geos represented in that class of 125 nominees.
Akila Darden, founder and president of the Darden Group, won this year's Community Impact Award. Darden was honored for her work in disrupting the construction industry to create opportunities for underrepresented groups. She joined us with more.
So we're a construction management firm, and we deal with large, complex commercial projects. And in the $2 billion of building, we've exceeded all goals and expectations. Yeah. So we don't only just build the physical buildings, but we also build people. We educate people. We help the diverse workforce, and we help people to just think outside the box.
So specifically, you are focused on the construction industry, which is typically a white male-dominated industry. How do you do that? How do you meet those diversity goals?
What they see is what they'll be. And if I can get out there and show people that I am a black female in construction with 23 years and 4 kids and a husband, by the way, I like to thank my husband and my kids and my mom. It was just, if they could see me and see what I've done, that they can do it. You, again, made a very quick and immediate impact after forming your business, your first major project, Bloomington-based Cook Group building a manufacturing facility on the city's near northeast side, and you were tasked with essentially ensuring there's 100% diversity when it comes to all of the contracts and things associated with that. First of all, talk about the project. Yeah, so the project is a 50,000 square foot manufacturing facility. It was built by Cook Medical, run by Goodwill. So we engaged the community. We had 97% percentage of color owning businesses. We had anywhere from 35 to 75% of the individuals who built the project from the community and of color. We also had 3 generations, and it took 45 days. That's all we had. So what we did was we grassroots. Who is in the community? Who do we know? And let's get them out there and tell them what the goals are and to see how they could come alongside of us and get it done. And we were able to get that done and just impact the community and give people jobs who didn't have them. And we also gave them free construction certifications and safety certifications along the way. Yeah, I know there's the manufacturing facility, grocery store, other things in that area, all part of that project that are really putting those people in the neighborhood back to work. And you have really used that project to get additional projects. You've got a big project with IU Health now, I understand. Absolutely. So because of the success of the manufacturing facility, I was hired by IU Health as a director of diversity and inclusion within design and construction. So now we went from a $16 million facility to a multi-billion-dollar facility with the goals of almost $1 billion in diverse spend over 5 years. So we're looking for diverse people to build. We're looking for companies to grow and even start just like mine. And people are starting businesses because of the Darden Group. And because I went to IU Health, I was able to hire 5, and they happen to be women, to run the Darden Group while I'm at IU Health.
Lauren James from TechPoint joining me again. Great story again, and interesting in not only what she accomplished in terms of that 100% participation, but how she used technology to make it all happen.
Yes, you can hear in her voice that tenacity and that innovative mindset that's really setting Akila apart. And what's compelling about the story is how she harnessed that technology to do both what you've mentioned. She grew her workforce, and then she's also capturing that target audience. And those are 2 really outside of the box ways of thinking that even smaller and bigger companies should be adopting.
Yeah, and that project, and she's going on to the IU Health project, which is massive here on the near north side of Indianapolis, but the Cook Group project, that manufacturing plant, from a placemaking standpoint, the impact on community is substantial.
Truly remarkable. Yeah. And she brought that to life in the application, how intentional she was with those innovative efforts, and then also bringing that forth in the near east side, which is a community that desperately needs that placemaking support. We're going to see long-term impacts. I can see it.
The Tech Education Award went to Jake Simons, a 5th grade teacher and director of robotics for Waunee Community Schools. 6 years ago, he started a robotics team of 10 5th grade students in a rural Amish community in Napanee. 2 years later, They were world champions. Simons joined us after winning his award to tell his story.
Yeah, I took over the high ability class at our school, and the first thing someone told me was to start a robotics team. And I had no idea what that even meant. I had no idea how to program, how to code, how to design, anything, build, nothing. But I went through some training, thought it was going to be a short 2-month season, and told the kids, hey, we're going to fall. But we're going to fall forward, and we're going to fall together. And that first year, we actually qualified for the World Championship somehow. And we were just kind of sold from that moment on, and what we thought was going to be a 2-month season turned into a 6-7 month season with a trip to Louisville, Kentucky, and the rest is history.
And you won the World Championship.
So then in 3 years, our third season, we went to Louisville, Kentucky once again for the World Championship. 6,000 teams across the planet from 40 different countries, and then only 400 make it to Worlds. And then from there, only 12 make it to the World Championship finals. And 9 of them were from China. 1 was from Hong Kong, which is a territory of China, and then 2 were from Napanee, Indiana.
That is a phenomenal story. How did it happen? I mean, you started it. As you say, you thought it was going to be a brief little stint, turned into something more. Yeah. But what led to the success and the momentum behind the program?
So after that first year, I became hooked. I use the word passionate. My wife uses the word obsessed. But after that season, I decided I needed to dive into every single possible resource, reach out to every single coach that I could, talk to George Giltner from Tech Point Foundation for Youth, and just really dove in. And we decided that we needed some strong structure if we were going to be successful. And so we created some sub-teams and a selection process and an application process. And then, of course, it was we needed a community support. So it was a lot of sales pitches to the community and fundraising. And so we're taking 10 teams to the World Championship in Dallas, Texas this year. That's more than any other district in Indiana. The curse of that is that it's expensive. So we had to get charter buses, we had to pay for registration fees, and our community supported us and came out just in a huge, huge way.
The awards are great, the notoriety is great, but how about the impact on kids?
Oh, yeah.
Because can you describe it or put it into words at what it's meant to the kids?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest impact that I see firsthand is confidence building, because when it comes to robotics, let me just say this, our society and our culture is constantly saying failure is not an option, right? But when it comes to robotics, failure is an option. It's part of the process. You fail, you make mistakes, but you get up and you learn from those mistakes, and then you become better, and we use those failures as stepping stones for our next success. And so through that process, kids gain so much confidence. And so I've seen that firsthand. That's the first word that comes out of every kid's mouth. That's the first word that comes out of every parent's mouth. My kid is just confident now. And think about the long-lasting effects of that, right? Just have a generation of confident people who are going to become our next world leaders and problem solvers.
Lauren James from Tech Point joins us again. And Lauren, that's one of my favorite stories. Yeah. Really a great story. And so interesting, the fact that Jake Simons, the 5th grade teacher, he didn't know anything about robotics, no clue about that heading into this.
Yes, that's what I love most about Jake's story, is just that vulnerability, that when he was first asked, he didn't think he should do it because, as you mentioned, he knew nothing about robotics, but that fateful yes has led to such an impact. And I know you and I are both from rural communities, right, and I wish I had a teacher like that was really helping to inspire STEM at such an early age.
Another example of a life-changing move, to be sure. And what I was astounded by was looking at that list of the World Championship competitors: China, Napanee, Indiana. Yeah. Can this, in your view, serve as an example, maybe kind of be a role model for other schools?
Certainly. And Jake's actually proving that. He shared with us that since that fateful yes, just a few years later, he's actually hosting summer camps. He's designed a 22-week free virtual curriculum to help other virtual coaches say yes a bit more easily and onboard their teams in really meaningful ways. And just in 2021 alone, he's reached nearly 2,500 students and has coached and mentored over 450 coaches. So that's incredible impact.
Noblesville resident and serial entrepreneur Darian McKell didn't draw a salary for 6 months while launching his latest venture, Qualify, an on-demand screening platform that allows recruiters to phone interview hundreds of candidates in minutes. Since then, Qualify has signed key customers and secured millions in funding. He joined us after being named Rising Entrepreneur of the Year.
So we make it really easy for especially high volume recruiting teams to pre-record audio-based questions, stack those into standardized interviews, and then send those out to job seekers really all across the country at this point. Enables them to create a more convenient experience and make hiring a lot faster.
I know you believe Qualify really solves a pain point for a lot of companies. What is that?
Yeah, that's the phone interview. The phone interview is actually the slowest part of most hiring processes. Most people don't realize that. That's often due to the scheduling and the coordination, and then just the sheer nature of taking 20 to 30 minutes to call every single candidate, and we make that a lot easier. Like I said, it's asynchronous, and candidates are able to respond at their convenience, any time of day, any time of night, and get their voice heard.
What is it about the platform that is attractive to companies?
Employers are looking for more and more ways to be competitive and be quicker to get to the offer and hire the best candidates. So they're looking for every edge. And we provide a tool that lets them be faster, creates a more convenient experience where candidates are able to respond on day one, as opposed to trying to schedule something that is days and weeks out.
So where do you see those growth opportunities?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like we're just getting started. We solve a really specific need right now. There's so many more things that we want to do from a product standpoint. I feel like we have a really big opportunity to kind of own this category in the recruitment technology space, around audio, around phone. We do this one specific thing, but there's a lot that we have in mind, and we're just getting started. So I see a lot of opportunities in different industries, and helping more and more recruitment teams and talent leaders find the right people.
Lauren, another great story. So many great stories. And Darian Michael's story, I think, is one of perseverance. He really overcame a number of hurdles, obstacles to achieve success.
Yeah, what's not to love about a story of a rising entrepreneur? We heard that he started flipping watches on eBay, and then launched a T-shirt company, and then he went on to start a startup with over 70 employees and millions of dollars in revenue. And he faced some adversity along the way, but he didn't give up, to your point. And now he's doing really great work leading diversity efforts and growing those diversity efforts and recruiting in the tech ecosystem.
Yeah, another great story. All of the winners and truthfully the nominees as well. Great stories around the state of Indiana. Lauren, kind of a bittersweet maybe event for you. Another great Mira event in downtown Indianapolis. Your last one. You're moving on. Where are you headed?
It is. Well, I'm heading to the Mitch Daniels Leadership Foundation as executive director starting June 1st, and it was bittersweet in many ways. Myself and our CEO, Mike, have really poured ourselves into the organization, Mike especially, over the last decade. And this was special in Mira land because it was our 23rd annual Mira Awards, back in person after 2 years of not being together. We had over 1,200 people in attendance, 84 sponsors, just remarkable all around.
Mike Langelier, you mentioned Mike moving on as well.
Yes, he's going to do big things. He's spending time with his family first and foremost, and just so much gratitude for him and all the work that he's done, pouring himself and making a place impact here in the tech community. And I'm really confident that where we're going as a team is going to be really solid under the leadership with Team Guti.
Remember, you can catch Inside Indiana Business Television on stations throughout the state every weekend. Head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com to check listings. Indiana Aerospace Innovation is taking flight. We have details on the rollout of the Air Force's newest test plane. Reporter Mary Rachel Redmond takes us inside Saab's new manufacturing operation in West Lafayette.
From Amelia Earhart and her crew at Oakland, California, ready for her great aerial adventure, around the world flight by way of the equator, a journey no pilot has yet attempted.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Two aviation legends that left an indelible mark on Purdue University. You could even argue their legacy, in part, has helped attract some of the top engineering talent in the world to West Lafayette.
Purdue's a leading innovator, as well as has the top engineering schools in aerospace and engineering.
So perhaps it's no surprise that Sweden-based Saab decided to expand its U.S. footprint in advanced manufacturing on Purdue's campus and officially becoming an American company.
By having that talent base readily accessible to us, it really promotes the culture of growth and innovation in product design.
That product is the T-7 Red Hawk, an advanced trainer jet for the United States Air Force, and the first brand new fighter trainer for the military branch in over 60 years.
This is an important program for the United States Air Force because it's replacing an aging fleet. The T-38 was first flown in 1959. And has been the trainer of choice for tens of years since then. But it's reached its end of life, so the maintenance costs are extremely high, and they're also not as reliable, and the T-7A fills that need.
And things are moving right along to start production, including the completion of Saab's 100,000 square foot facility.
I see these blue lines on the floor. Is that going to indicate kind of where the manufacturing process is going to happen, machinery?
It is. Our portion of the aircraft is the aft section, which is essentially the entire aircraft minus the wing, engine, nose cone, and cockpit.
It's hard to imagine right now. So, I mean, literally, it's huge, right? So will it span,
It will fill the entire volume of this factory, correct.
So there'll be people working on it from up top.
Correct.
And below.
And below, correct. And inside. So given that the aircraft is kind of like a hollow tube, it's too big for us to do all of the work from the ground. So therefore we install a second story so that we can do work safely from above.
Because generally you can take this.
So when this is fully functional, how many folks will be on the floor?
So we'll have a little over 130 employees out on the factory side.
And while the new T-7 Red Hawk may be the most technologically advanced trainer jet ever made, its name is a nod to one of history's most celebrated group of pilots from World War II.
One of my ambitions is a combat pilot.
The tail of our aircraft is painted red, which is an ode to the Tuskegee Airmen of World War II. We look to pay homage to that.
What an opportunity like this produces is you're actually talking to someone that would employ our student, and we want our student to have relevant experiences, so we're excited to be able to work closely with them as a partner.
In a perfect world, let's say 10, 15 years from now, how do you envision Saab here in West Lafayette?
So there's going to be an incredible amount of growth. We have high expectations that we will recruit best-in-class talent. And as we continue to be a leader in the aerospace market, the possibilities are limitless.
Mary Rachel Redman, Inside Indiana Business.
What is expected to be a blockbuster drug for prostate cancer is now on the market. It was discovered by the legendary Dr. Philip Lau at Purdue University. He spoke with Kylie Valletta in the Business of Health.
Well, let's talk first about Pluvicto. Can you explain in basic terms what it is and why it's so significant for patients?
Yeah, Pluvicto is a simple medicine that simply concentrates radioactivity only in cancer cells and avoids their uptake by adjacent healthy cells. Pluvicto specifically has the property of targeting the radioactivity to prostate cancer cells, and by increasing their concentration in these malignant cells, it leads to the rapid death of the malignant cells and preservation of the life of the adjacent healthy cells. So it's a very targeted therapy that avoids damage to healthy tissues.
Well, it's one of so many things you've done at Purdue. You've been at Purdue for 46 years, and it seems like now things are kind of coming rapid fire for you. In 2018, you sold Indocyte for $2 billion. You've started 7 companies. This is your second FDA approval in less than 6 months. Do you feel like all these years of hard work now is starting to pay off?
Yeah, it's been very rewarding to finally see a few of these drugs that we've been optimizing in the pipeline for many years make it through the very arduous process of FDA approval and finally being approved for distribution to people. And what's even more rewarding, frankly, are the emails that I frequently receive from patients that benefit from these medicines. They acknowledge how much it has helped their health and how happy they are and how it enables them to, be with their families longer and enjoy a better quality of life. So that's extremely rewarding.
So 46 years, I have to think, don't you want to retire? Do you need to rest? It's such a long time.
Well, I've thought often about retirement. As a matter of fact, I speak with my wife often about it. But in all fairness, ideas come to me very easily and very rapidly. And I have so many really good ideas for treating such diseases as rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, influenza, and COVID-19 infections. And we have projects in each of these areas, including, projects on treating fibrotic diseases like pulmonary fibrosis and even bone fractures and matters of this simple nature. So I would feel that almost negligent of me to retire now and not do what I can do for people that are still suffering from these various, pathologies and maladies. So
we only have about 30 seconds left, but I do want to mention you have something in the pipeline for malaria, and that could be your next FDA approval. Can you just touch on that?
Yeah, we've developed a method that traps the malaria parasite inside its host cell, the red blood cell, and by trapping it inside, it prevents the parasite from proliferating, and it's outperforming any malaria medicine to date. And as a matter of fact, we're seeing virtually 100% cures in 48 hours, and that's remarkable. So we're intending to complete the approval process for that and make it free of charge, available to everybody in the world.
So incredible. Well, you are a superstar Boilermaker. We're honored to have you here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for the opportunity.
University High School in Carmel is encouraging its students to learn from the world around them. Assistant Head of School Stacy Summit-Mann says the Habitat for Community Learning program is turning the outdoors into a classroom. She joined us in our Eye on Education segment.
You're on the campus there at University High School, a 9 through 12 grade high school, 345 students there at 116th and Town Road in Hamilton County. Talk about this learning experience, because this really is an outgrowth of an area that was needed for infrastructure at the school, but really, at least initially, didn't have a learning component to it.
Yes, absolutely. So my background is in ecology. I'm one of the science teachers here at the school, in addition to being the assistant head of school. And so this idea for the Habitat for Community Learning really has emerged as a partnership between the students and the school. And so in 2017, when I was teaching my environmental science class, we did an orienteering activity. And that was really just to get out on our campus, to learn about direction, to learn about space. And the students very quickly stopped at the parking lot. And it was really interesting to me, because their directions were to go further than that, but they just stopped at the parking lot and didn't recognize this whole other area as a part of our campus. And from there, we really dug in and started to explore what is our campus, what's been here before, what's here now, and learned that there was this whole acreage that was here for infrastructure. It's stormwater infrastructure, and it's a part of a major gas pipeline that goes through our campus that really has no purpose on our toward our educational mission.
Yeah. Hey, Stacey, talk about what's there and what will ultimately be there and how it will be used.
Sure. What's here right now is we, again, have the stormwater drainage, and what's being developed is the idea that this can be made into a better environment, both ecologically and for education. So what is planned is that essentially right now, what is a detention basin with not a lot there, ecologically speaking, will turn into multiple wetlands with trails going through it. We'll have a couple different platforms for student learning, demonstration areas. There'll even be a piece of equipment that will allow us to change the water level of the wetlands to be able to do some experimentation with that angle. And really will just be a place on campus that students can connect to and can ground to in multiple different ways.
Well, it's hands-on learning, to be sure, in the great outdoors at University High School in Hamilton County. It will be interesting to watch this project unfold. Stacy Summit-Mann, the assistant head of school there. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gary.
All right.
An INDYCAR team is driving to make a better life for children in Uganda. Ed Carpenter Racing is partnering with Building Tomorrow. Carpenter joined Bill Benner on Inside Indiana Sports.
How did this great partnership with Building Tomorrow come about?
Just Indianapolis connections, really. I had met George around town, but a mutual friend of ours who we're both really close with, David Ravensburg, kind of helped bring the two of us together. David's been, supporting and donating to Building Tomorrow for a long time, and we came up with a creative way to try to bring two Indianapolis entities together to do something positive, and it's really fun. It's got great Indianapolis support, but we've also seen, a ton of support from the Netherlands with that being Renus's home nation. So it's a local cause, but a global cause, and we're getting global, involvement.
And George Soror, of course, has been with Building Tomorrow. He's been involved with Uganda children for a long, long time. How many people have signed up so far, Ed, and how can they still sign up if they wish?
Yeah, so we're around 560 people have signed up at $75, so over 40,000 raised at this point. We still have time to donate, so $75, that'll send 5 kids to a Building Tomorrow camp in Uganda. So you can go to bt.team, or just bt.team, and make a donation. So we'll be finalizing that here in the next week or so, and your name will be on a very cool looking race car, and it should be up front. Renus traditionally runs really well here at the IndyGP, so we're excited to get back.
And I know, with the INDYCAR team now coming back and they're testing at the Speedway, a lot of involvement in local initiatives. You guys, again, you're going worldwide. How important is it for INDYCAR and INDYCAR teams to take on these kinds of initiatives?
I think just in life, we all have different platforms and reaches, and I think it's always fun when we're able to do something that connects locally, but also makes a difference, whether it's here or anywhere else in the world. So something that's very important to us, and to be able to have this partnership with Building Tomorrow is fun. Looking forward to it. We've done a lot with Riley Children's Hospital over the years as well. So, it's Hoosier hospitality, and we try to take care of each other.
Ed, we got about 30 seconds left. I know the INDYCAR community, they're focused right now on Barber Motorsports and the Grand Prix there. Coming back to Indy, though, Renus is the defending champ, and so certainly optimism there. And we want to see you back on the pole again. You've for the 500, you've been there 3 times. So, well, let's make it a 4th. What do you say?
Yeah, I won't be mad about a 4th, but really just want to be the first one to cross the bricks for the 200th lap on Memorial Day weekend and get my first Indy 500 win. That's the focus, and I was really happy after the test, so can't wait to get on track.
Well, Ed, thanks for being on the program. We can't wait to see you in action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I'll be in the Southwest Vista rooting for you. Thanks for being on the show.
And finally this week, Eli Lilly CEO Dave Ricks says Indiana must improve education and reduce healthcare costs to stay competitive. Our partners at the IBJ are looking into that and more. Managing editor Greg Weaver joined us with a look ahead.
Dave Ricks made some headlines last week, a speech to the Economic Club of Indiana. We talked about it on the show as well. This is really getting some attention. He basically makes the case that Indiana's doing well in some of the traditional metrics, but some of these other issues, education, workforce, skilling up the workforce, healthcare, need to be addressed.
Right. And these are all issues that we've all heard before and that people talk about frequently. But I think what made these comments resonate so widely was who said them. Mm-hmm. To have the CEO of a corporate stalwart like Lilly make these comments in a very public way really generated a lot of tension, and we thought that was why it needed a little deeper dive. So, over the course of the past week, you've seen many comments on social media. You've heard it at dinner parties. It was, the topic of one of the key speeches at the Mira Awards last week. And so we decided that we wanted to talk to a lot of business people about why this is resonating so much with them. And so, what we found, one of the things that Dave Ricks emphasized was that the business community needs to get more involved in pushing the legislature to address some of these issues. And in talking to a lot of business-minded Republicans, we find that their concern is that the legislature is spending way too much time on social issues like abortion and gun rights, and not nearly enough time on the state's economic future.
Yeah, and Greg, is that one of the issues you found is maybe going to resonate in some of these primary elections?
Yeah, I mean, you see in many of the Republican primaries for the state legislative seats that a lot of the races are reflective of this tug of war between social conservatives and establishment Republicans. And so we take a look this week at 2 races in Hamilton County featuring Republicans who are seeking the nomination there. But you find this in races throughout the state as Republicans try to kind of out-conservative each other. And, judging by the campaign mail I've been receiving for the legislative race where I live in kind of the Franklin-Shelbyville area, it's all about who can be the most anti-abortion and the most pro-gun, it seems.
Yep. Greg Weaver, managing editor at IBJ, with just a couple of big stories you're working on this week. Greg, as always, thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend.
That wraps up this week's Inside Indiana Business Television podcast. Remember, you can find all of this week's TV segments, as well as the top business news from throughout the state, at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. While you're there, you can also subscribe to our platform of free e-newsletters. This is Andy Ober for Inside Indiana Business.